Hi, thank you so much for joining me on Spirituality for All. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about spirituality in a way to welcome people to the party. It is not a scary thing. And I have my great friend, Paige Parsons Roache, here with me today to talk about some ideas that will really have an impact, hopefully, on you. Maybe it'll improve your life in some way. One of the things we were talking about earlier was water, and we're right near a fountain, and we're talking about the energy of the water. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Paige.
Okay, so they nicknamed me, I have a nickname, VeganRamaMama. And I went vegan about 2 years ago, actually in October. So 2 years ago, my daughter, I say I'm being raised by a vegan child. She went vegan first. And if any parents are out there listening and your child says, hey, I don't want to eat meat, dairy, or eggs anymore, most probably because of the animals. They care about the animals. They don't want to see any more harm done. It's challenging as a parent. How do you then change your kitchen? How do you change the food that you're buying and offering? And so I jumped on board with her 6 months after she had gone vegan, and I don't regret any of the choices.
Which I love that, because Paige has such a great way of explaining it in an everyday way. Yeah, most people, if their kid says they want to be vegetarian or vegan, the parents are like, oh, are you kidding me? It's a big pain in the ass.
Yeah,
and you know what? It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
Let Paige share what she's learned. It's awesome.
Well, but essentially, I'll make this a little quickie, but you can always contact me and I can walk you through, because I'm a support for parents whose children are going vegan, being raised by a vegan child.
She's a really great force in our community.
I'm absolutely a great resource. What I chose to do was to steep myself in all things social media wise. I went on Facebook and Instagram. Those are pretty much the two things that I use, and just steep myself in information. And then I have a girlfriend who's been vegan for 15 years, and she helped guide me a little bit, but there's a ton of resources now that are available. And then what I decided to do, people, which is so accessible, is I just started ordering vegan food, or finding out where the vegan restaurants are in the neighborhood.
Which is easier to do nowadays, right? On Yelp and stuff. Yeah.
Yelp, and there's an app that you can download. It's like $3.99, called Happy Cow, and it'll tell you wherever you are in the entire world, the restaurants that have signed up. Yeah, globally.
Wow,
so when I travel, I tap into that, or I go onto, and I'll type in vegan restaurants into the search engine. But Happy Cow helps a lot. So I just want to say that. But
that's great. And I'll put that in the link here on this video for you guys if you want to go ahead and follow up on that.
And then I would go to places where they would have testers. There's a great place called Irwan in our area, right? But they're all over. And places like Lassen's, I don't know, and even Whole Foods. And I tasted things that they said were vegan.
Taste samples.
Yes, sampling. And so then I would take pictures of the recipes and things and go home and try them out, which I've been doing. And it doesn't always turn out great. But the other really good place I would just want to say is Veggie Grill. I'm going to do a little plug, because I know that they're getting out there, but also Chipotle has some really good stuff. So that's just kind of easy, fast food stuff that's actually healthy for you.
Because you do get desperate. You have to, in a busy life, stop and get fast food.
And one thing I just want to say about water is, we were talking about this earlier, is that the meat, dairy, and egg industry is the #1 cause for our drought globally. And that's hard to what? But it's broken down in a movie called Cowspiracy, which is not one of those super scary movies where you're going to be watching a lot of
really gross
stuff. No, there's one scene small on a farm with a chicken, and it's not even a big dose. It looks supernatural. Cowspiracy.
Okay, I'll put that in the link for you guys
too.
Put that in
the link too.
Yeah.
But we were talking about, so that uses up a lot of water, but
which we need,
obviously. But I wanted to kind of circle back to the water, and how, I don't know about you, but when I go to the ocean, when I drive, I literally will drive. We live in the valley. I'll drive my 20-25 minutes down and take and soak up the ocean energy, or I'll go to some body of water. And I forgot, my fountain doesn't work right now, but I got to get it fixed because that movement. So say more about that.
And we had it on, by the way, a few minutes ago, but we thought the volume, it would be a little too loud and you might not hear us. So we did turn it off.
I hear it a little bit though in my energy.
It's trickling a little tiny bit. But anybody, like I was saying before in the last interview, we were talking about, it's okay if you don't live near the ocean. Everyone has a body of water of some sort near them, whether it's a stream where there's snow melt, or a lake, or a bathtub, or when you're brushing your teeth, that movement of the water, like a fish tank. The fish have that filter there, getting the oxygen, the pump and the filter, but they need the movement. And so that's so important. That's so important for our energy inside our bodies, right? We don't want to be stagnant. From an exercise point of view, we want our circulation, the fluid that's in our bodies, not just our air and our lung capacity, but we want our blood to be pumping through our body. And the same thing is with that energy. We want a flow of the energy. That's why a lot of times we're talking about chakra energy, getting that flow moving. And so from an environmental standpoint, when we're getting back to the water, I think what Paige is talking about is so important, because it's not only the global warming and whatever else you may attribute the problem for the drought on the planet to. It is these practices of how we farm the animals and stuff too. So there's a huge impact. Why would somebody, what are the reasons why somebody would go vegan?
Well, that would be one of the reasons.
To save water.
To save water, but also on an impact as far as, so 3 reasons people generally go vegan. One is health-wise, and if you haven't seen the movie What the Health, it's an incredible movie that gives you a lot of information. There's a lot of holes poked in, so if you're a physician, just know you may say, what are the research? They did their own research. There's a lot of validity to it. You can go and look beyond. But for the person like you and me, the day person, have maybe not a physician or nurse.
Right, the lay person.
It's incredible information if you're not going to go completely vegan, you can start with maybe a meatless Monday or a meat-free Monday, which is a global movement as well. The meat-free Monday is put out by Beatles' Paul McCartney. He started that. And the Meatless Monday started out of Johns Hopkins University and went global. And it's essentially to help impact your health, the environment, as well as the animals,
And there are a host, obviously, of health conditions. Cardiac, cholesterol, all sorts of stuff.
Heart disease.
We don't need to,
huge. So the point is, if you aren't necessarily going vegan per se, choosing one day, they say Monday is great because
Baby
it's
steps.
starting the week out right fresh, and not using meat, dairy, and eggs for that day. And then it's better. So for your health, for the animals,
so drought
or
reasons,
the environment.
Drought reasons,
exactly.
Health reasons, and animal cruelty reasons, which a lot of the teenagers and grown-ups, obviously also humans, are really offended. And the practices, the way they treat the animals, has declined a lot in many areas.
Well, they are saying, and what I have heard from my animal activist friends, that humane is actually just slightly less invasive than regular slaughterhouse situations. So even if you think you're buying humane, I'm sorry to tell you this, but it may mean that their conditions are a little bit more roomy or a little roomier, but not necessarily meaning that they're not actually, they're slaughtering the animal.
Right.
So it's to think about that energy. And then as far as the dairy, and there's so many, let me just say this right off the bat though. There are so many options for delicious cheeses that are made from nuts, cashews. There's also cheeses that are made from almonds and from soy as well. You can have a soy cheese. So there are, and the healthy soy, because there's non-healthy soy too. The non-GMO and the organic is your healthy. But what I want to say is, so that's really good. There's a lot of choices, a lot of options. But the dairy industry, when you get into what's really happening there, is the babies are taken away from the mamas. So cow's milk, we are actually not designed to drink cow's milk. We are under the impression that we are. Milk does the body good, but it actually, studies show it breaks down and causes more osteoporosis. So we have been misinformed, people. It's important to get informed, do your research, not just count on me.
And also, by the way, I want to point out, Paige is a wealth of information, and we'll do a longer interview and some sort of a class kind of thing too, if people are interested, because she does a wonderful workshop in our area where she's talking about everyday vegan items that are out there in the stores that we can buy and do and utilize in our lives. But one thing I want to just kind of wrap it up a little bit into this idea that's so important are preconceptions. Let go of any negative connotations that you may have in your own body and your own, that vocabulary. What is vegan? And you may cringe and think, what the hell is that? And it's not that hard to do, and we have so many preconceptions about life. And I want to go back to this, and I want you to tell everybody about your experience with the police officer, okay? She has a funny police officer story that just happened. And when you hear a cop came to the window of my car, right? What's your first thought? What the hell did I do? What did I do wrong? Paige, what happened?
Well,
let it go. Good things can happen.
I will say this. So I was texting my friend about an article that was just written about what I do with my basket. I carry this basket around. It's called Go Green. It's my Go Green basket, which encourages people to use less plastics on the planet. So the single-use plastics like the water bottles, lids, straws, you know, drop the straw, go topless. So say no to a lid.
Go topless.
And you bring your own bamboo.
Look at these straws. They're metal.
So there's a recent article that just came out. So I was writing to a friend of mine, sending maybe even you an article, and this police officer drove up to next to the car and he said, "Are you lost? Do you need directions? Are you okay?"
Help her.
And he was just trying to help me. And it was a police officer on a motorcycle, and my dog's in the back, and he's like, "Oh, hi," you know. And I said, "Actually, no, I'm fine. I'm just texting." And because you don't drive and text, and I said, so I'm texting because I'm really excited. I had this article that was written, and he said, "What's it about?" And I said, "Well, I encourage people to use less plastics and go more green."
He was totally into it.
Seriously, he reaches over, turns his head, pulls up his metal water bottle, turns and smiles.
Yes, she has a photograph
of
the cop with this reusable bottle in his hand on her Facebook page.
How cool is that? And I said, "Thank you so much, officer. Have a great day."
Good things can happen. It doesn't matter. Yes,
exactly.
When a cop comes up to your car, it's not a bad thing.
It's not
and when someone says
thing.
They're a vegan, it's not a bad thing.
That's true too. And let me say something. You may not go vegan, but you may choose to go more plant-based.
Yes.
Because veganism, when you look that up, there's a lot of energy there, but also in history, but also that's like really when you're not even having any honey, and you're not wearing leather, and you're choosing a lifestyle that has nothing to do with animal cruelty or exploitation.
Yes.
So that may not be for you.
You don't have to go all the way.
Exactly. You may choose to go plant-based, which is not using any meat, dairy, or eggs, consuming,
which is so fun.
You already do. You eat a salad and you include lots of vegetables, and then you say, "I'm going to skip the chicken today, or the beef, or the pork." You know,
it's not that
things
hard.
Like that. So you will find yourself eating more plant-based. Just naturally, you order a smoothie, and it's not made with milk. But just know, for your body personally, cutting back, especially women, cutting back on dairy is essential. Essential for your body, for cancer. It's proven, for osteoporosis, for all the things that we're worried about as women who are aging. Right.
Now, I want to tie this into this idea that we've been talking about on the Anchor radio station that I'm on, my podcast. Just yesterday, we were talking about, do you act from your energy and from your motivation, or do you go with a plan and stick to your plan? And everybody is so different, and some people need a plan, and if they can't do the plan exactly as it's written, then they throw it out the window and they don't do anything. So, and some people who act spontaneously and don't have a plan can get a little out of control. So you need to figure out where your balance is in your life. Are you a planner, or are you going from your energy and your own instinct and intuition? And you can combine the two, and you can do baby steps. Any kind of, I'm not going to use the D word for diet, right? This is how you eat, what you ingest into your body is so important. So I am so grateful that Paige stopped by today, and I'm going to post this on my Facebook page too, which is Strong Body, Strong Soul on Facebook. And you can also check out my podcast if you like. It's called Strong Body, Strong Soul, also on iTunes. You can find me out there. And a little bit of our interview, we went a little bit audio on the podcast as well. But Paige can be found at VeganRamaMama
1 On Instagram.
One, okay, on Instagram, which she has great photos. You
Yes.
can find that picture of the cup with his cup. It's so funny.
Or Paige Parsons Roache on Instagram. Excuse me, on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, so perfect. Yes, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming,
Thank
Paige.
you. I love this.
Yay. She is
Alrighty.
wonderful. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day, and I will see if I can get this shut down. Let's see here.
There it is.
Bye.